Hey, what's going on, guys? We got another episode of The Strange Road. I'm your host, Mikey, and of course, as always, the co-host, Bub. Bub, how you doing tonight?
Great.
Doing great? You ready for this?
Yes.
Awesome, dude. And as always, tonight, we have Stoner and Disbro in Master Control.
Yes.
Fellas, what's happening? It's actually feeling nice and cool in here tonight.
Feels good.
For once. The summer.
The windows open.
Yes. So those guys hopefully are not burning up there. They are in Master Control.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much. Always making everything look and sound great, of course. And you guys can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at The Strange Road. The Facebook group, The Strange Road Hitchhikers, is rocking and rolling. Don't forget about that Strange Road merch portal. Just opened up the merch store, and that's thestrangeroadmerch.com. We got it linked everywhere, all over the place in social media. Some of you guys may have noticed that we launched that with D.A. Roberts not too long ago. So go and get your merch. Great holiday gifts. Birthday gifts, whatever. Support the show. We love you guys. Appreciate everything you guys do. And also, these live streams and premieres are all ad-free. Another great way to support the show is with super stickers and super chats. And sharing, liking, subscribing there on YouTube. If you like these episodes, share it to your friends, your cousins, your grandma. We try not to curse too much. So
we're pretty good about it.
I think you could send an app to your grandma. She might enjoy it.
I think I could get this past my grandma.
Absolutely. So if you're listening on Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, wherever that might be, rate us, give us that 5-star rating. That we really, really does help the show. And again, share that episode if you're a listener in the audio. We've got growth in New Zealand, in Australia, in Japan, and a lot of places. We're charting a little bit in Sweden now, the UK, Canada. So hey,
I don't get it, but I love it.
All of you guys.
We love it.
And of course, all of our listeners right here in our hometown in Ohio represent, and all over the U.S. New places, new cities, new towns are always popping up. So appreciate the hell out of all you guys. I'm not going to waste much time tonight.
There you go.
Let's welcome to the show Bigfoot researcher and featured on several documentary series and documentaries, including Sasquatch, A Search for Sabe, and the Smalltown Monsters series, Beyond the Trail. Let's welcome Tate Hieronymus, everybody. Tate, what is up, dude? How are you doing tonight?
What is up? Man, I kind of look like Bruce Wayne coming out from the shadows right now.
Tate, tell everybody what you're in and what is behind you, because this is great. This is like right here. This is legit.
I'm in a house within a house. I got this new hunting blind that I really been wanting to get, and I have it set up in my room, and I'm inside it. So
he's in just a hunting blind, ladies and gentlemen, inside his office in his apartment house, and
doing a little R&D.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're gonna take this out into the field and hang out for Sasquatch hunting? Or are you hunting deer, or this is for your Bigfoot research?
Yeah, it's for the Bigfoot stuff, and a buddy of mine has one. That's the reason I really wanted to get one, because we've been utilizing it, and it's pretty cool. So
wow,
I can get used to this. So it's a pretty cool space.
It looks awesome. I want to go hang out in there.
Yeah.
It's so cool because you can see out, but you can't see in. So it's like you could be giving somebody the bird or something. And they have no idea.
They have no idea. It's like the two-way mirrors, And those,
it really is.
Yeah. In those rooms where they're trying to put you under pressure.
Oh, yeah. Good cop, bad cop.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, the interrogation room.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bingo. Now, Tate, tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got started down this path, where we can find you. Fill us in a little bit, man.
So, the path that I got started down, that's a weird one. I think kind of has been drawn towards the weird and abnormal kind of thing, and kind of growing up, I was like that armchair type of researcher for the longest time, and moved around a lot. And so it wasn't until, I'm trying to think of the year, I want to say 2014, I moved to California, and I was like, okay, this is just Northern California is the birthplace of Bigfoot, basically.
Right.
So,
right.
I just started making plans to go up there, and finally went up there and just really just, that's where my kind of Bigfooting career took off, getting up in the woods finally for the first time, like actually out there into legit woods, not like Midwest Iowa woods or Mexico, but no, like legit forest. So that's kind of, you know, just doing that. And the PG film was the other thing that really got me kind of interested in the whole Bigfoot subject. I think I remember like watching Monster Quest, like way back in the day.
Yeah.
And seeing like the episode where it was showing the Patterson Gimlin film. And I was like, dude, this is so cool. And I probably watched the Patterson Gimlin film on YouTube maybe a billion times.
Wow.
So, I mean, over exaggeration for sure, but no, that was the Patterson Gimlin film was like the big thing that really got me into the whole topic. And then like I said, moving to California, actually getting out there, really feel that even more, being in the location that it happened. So I was like, this is so cool. So I was like, yeah, that's kind of where my journey kind of took me, just being weird, liking abnormal things. Patterson Gimlin, California. It's a mixture of it's a perfect storm, if you will. And so, but yeah, and then like where you can find me is I have a Instagram called Search for Sabe. It's from my YouTube series. I'm going to post all my investigation stuff there and everything, because I do have a personal Instagram, but I'm kind of a weirdo. I have like this unspoken rule: if I haven't met you yet, don't follow me, kind of thing. It's weird. Don't bro me if you don't know me.
Very much, yeah.
Because like you never know. There's a bunch of weird people out there and stuff.
Yeah,
I'm not saying everybody is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm a private person that likes to be public, and I know that's like doesn't make any sense. But like, I have other Instagrams or platforms you can reach me on, just not the personal Instagram one. So
absolutely.
And then I have my Facebook, which I'm more lax on Facebook, so anybody can send me a request there. And then I have my YouTube channel, which is just my name, Tate Hieronymus. So those are my socials. I'm rarely on Twitter, but I do have it. So yeah, that's kind of where you can find me, as those kind of social media outlets.
Fantastic. We have all those linked in the description for you guys if you want to go connect with Tate and you want to go check out In Search of Sabe and his YouTube channel. Go do that. Support everything he's doing. One reason we connected is there was a potential Bigfoot expedition with our buddy Jeremiah from Bigfoot Society, and we kind of connected on Instagram, and I was trying to make it work to come out and hang out with you guys on this expedition in Iowa. But you had already been out in the field leading up to that. So can you tell us a little bit about that whole kind of double expedition, or I don't know how many places you went to, but tell us a little bit about that. A few months back, you kind of had a big adventure.
So, originally, because every time I go out to, since I live in Florida now currently, I usually drive out to where I'm going to go because I want to take all my gear with me. So I try to go to Bluff Creek annually. So I drove out to Bluff Creek, and then I always try to hit up Iowa if I can, because I'm from the Midwest originally. I'm from Kansas City, Missouri, and I lived in Des Moines, Iowa for a few years. So I found a place there that I thought was pretty cool. So I had to put it on the list. So, but yeah, we went to Bluff Creek, and we were going to do this crazy hike that I had an idea of doing. It was going to be from the Bluff Creek Bridge, like the famous Bluff Creek sign that you see, like with pictures of Bob Gimlin and everything. We were going to start from there, and that's at the Klamath River. And we were going to hike from there up to the Patterson Gimlin site, which I think is like 18 miles. And we knew that first section of the hike was going to be hard. And we already had like sections of the hike mapped out, like how far we need to go and this and that. We had like plans for a resupply and drop off and everything like that. And we started the hike, and we barely made it a mile, and we had to turn around because it was so bad.
Wow.
We were boulder hopping, and we were crossing the creek that was like up to our waist at some points.
Wow.
It's and it was not just a babbling brook. It was actual rapids in a creek, which is it's not a river, it's a creek, and there's rapids. Wow. So it was a miracle. None of us got hurt. And, you know, I'm glad my good buddy Kip Morrill, part of the Bluff Creek Project, he was with us on his hike, and he was the one who suggested we actually turn around and stay. And I think some of us were kind of feeling like we want to do it, but like when we would sit down, we would feel our bodies, like the physical toll that we took, you know, put them through. And yeah, we were like, yeah, that's a good idea. So Kip really strongly suggested it, and we went along with it, and we were glad we did, because man, if we kept going, we could have broken an ankle or something. It could have been bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was that whole thing. So unfortunately we didn't meet our goal. So, but you know, it's an experience I'll never forget. So we ended up staying in Bluff Creek for like, I think 2 more weeks. Then we went down to Southern California, and we were camping near a spot that I had something happen, you know, I think in 2016, I filmed something on a thermal imager. We were camping in that area, and we happened to be there for like the first hurricane to make landfall in 80 years in California.
What?
Nice.
So we didn't really get hit by a lot of wind. It was just a lot of rain. And then during that whole thing, we're like hanging out in the Jeep and truck, and we're just like drinking and stuff, just having a good time, just waiting the weather out. And my Jeep starts shaking, and then my buddy's truck starts shaking. And then one of my friends is on the ground, and we're all looking at each other like, dude, I think there's an earthquake happening right now.
Wow.
And it was a pretty good sizable earthquake, and it lasted long enough for us to like think about what was happening and then talk to each other and figure out what was happening.
Wow.
And so I was like, man, we really have lived right now. We were camping in a hurricane, and we just lived through an earthquake.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know where my mind went though when he said that?
What?
Was a Sasquatch shaking the Jeep.
First thing.
And then I'm like, I wasn't expecting you to say earthquake.
Right.
That's wild. You know, real quick funny segue. We actually did an episode with a gentleman in India, and during the recording and live stream of our episode, he had an earthquake in India and had to move his camera and computer outside. Because
just
there,
small ones.
Yeah, it was
just
really small, but that definitely happened. So there you go.
Oh my God.
Earthquake stories, baby. Man, that's crazy. So you guys, what did you guys do after that? How long were you in that area?
So we were in the Southern California area for like only, I think total we were there for maybe 3 days, but we only camped at my spot for a couple of days. And one of the days we spent was in the rain because of the hurricane, so we couldn't do anything. So it was like until the next day, we barely had like a day. And, you know, I wasn't expecting a hurricane to be happening when I planned this trip months in advance. So that really set us back a day. But, you know, we ended up, the next day it was like really nice and beautiful. And we actually went up to the site where I had my sighting. And we did we filmed and stuff up there. And this is kind of funny because we were out there, and, you know, like anybody who's been like traveling for that long of a time over that great of a distance across the United States, and then you're like spending each night till 2 a.m, being awake or even longer, that takes a toll on your body.
Oh yeah.
So we ate food that night. We were going to like take a nap, like a 20-minute nap, and then go walk the road. We ended up sleeping for 3 hours.
Yeah.
And then we woke up, and it's like, dude, it's 2 a.m. So we almost didn't do anything because we were just like, I'm just done with this. This weather has killed me. It took the wind out of my sails. But, you know, I was like, you know what? We're here. Let's just do it. So we ended up walking the road and trying some stuff. And then after we got back, get this, I think I was just getting settled in bed in my car, and there was another earthquake.
Jeez.
I'm like, dude, it's the second earthquake I felt since we've been here. So that's pretty wild. But no, like, yeah, so we did that. And then it was the next day we were heading towards Iowa because we were going to meet up. I think you were potentially were going to meet us there with Jeremiah. And so we drove out to Iowa. It took us 2.5 days, something like that, to get there. And so we got there. We met up with Jeremiah Byron, who you guys know from Bigfoot Society.
Yep.
He's a cool dude. Yeah. So we met up with him. It was me, Ron, and Jeremiah, and then Ontaria Richardson. She's a BFRO investigator in Iowa. She's pretty cool. That was the first time I met her. So she joined us. Then I had a couple of friends of ours that really actually weren't Bigfooters at all, but they were just good friends of mine. And then they decided to come and hang out with us. So we had some stuff. We did some stuff out there. I don't want to say too much of what happened because I'm currently working on that episode of the series. But I mean, I think it was a good time there. And if anybody has seen the previous Iowa episode that I was with Jeremiah out there, we had some stuff happen. So, and I think this particular area in Iowa it's a really good spot. And I don't think they're there all the time. In my opinion, I think Iowa is really like a seasonal type of place for Bigfoot activity. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to be more in like Minnesota area, like further north, or like if they're going to come down south, they're going to go to like the Ozarks or something like that.
Yeah, lots of cryptid activity, period, down there. The Ozarks has got the Ozark Howler and Bigfoot and Dogmen, and that's a lot of wood.
all kinds of things. Yeah, and like Ozarks are pretty weird.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So what part of Iowa? I mean, a lot of people, obviously Iowa's a huge state, so of course there's going to be, but people think of cornfields, they think of big open farmlands. Give us a little picture of like what type of area in Iowa this is. Are we talking like kind of hilly and river valleys, lots of forests, state park?
So I'm trying not to say, I don't like to say the name of the place right now because we keep it, since we're still actively investigating it.
Totally.
And that's the problem with the more you gain popularity in the Bigfoot subject, the more people are going to try and find a place because they want to be there.
Sure.
To say so, but the landscape, it's your typical like kind of Midwest country rural type of environment, kind of hilly, but then you have like those forested areas too on top of that. And so it's kind of a mixture between that. It's a lot thicker than you would think when you get back in there. And it's a decent sized forest for the area. And, when you look at Iowa, and the reason I said I think Iowa is a seasonal area for Bigfoot activity is because there's not very many forests there. And if there are, they're big enough, but they're not big for someone to stay in there for a long period of time. So, I mean, they're not going to hang around there for 6 months out of the year. That's a bit or a really small area for something to hang around that long that could possibly leave tracks or get discovered a lot quicker than if it was like in the Ozarks or further north in Minnesota or Canada or something like that.
Makes sense.
But kind of hilly, forested for sure. Some ponds here and there. Kind of your Midwest typical, forest camping park kind of thing. So that's kind of the environment. Lots of ticks.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
There's been a tick problem all over this year.
Not a fan.
It's been crazy. In Ohio, I know Southern Ohio, it's been ridiculous.
Yeah.
There's tick warnings in every state park this summer.
No, I hate ticks, man. They scare me. Snakes, poisonous snakes and ticks scare me the most.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Cottonmouth and rattlesnakes, which Iowa does have. Yeah. Not a fan. Or ticks, man. I don't want to get that Lyme disease.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but I did think about like trying to build up an immunity to snake bites. It'd be kind of sweet.
That'd be a metal move.
Yeah, I mean, depending on what kind of, I mean, I know that there have been some, like entomologists or, insect studies done where the guy was like, I'm going to sting myself with this insect and that one. And he like literally built up a resistance to certain venoms and stings just by exposing himself to it. His body built up enough, but I'm good, man. I'm good.
Could you imagine that you're immune to snake bites, but your buddy's with you and he gets bit? And you're like, well, sucks for you.
Yeah. Sorry you didn't train hard enough. I mean,
exactly.
Some of those venoms too are really nasty,
Oh man, like, you know what? No, I'm actually just joking, but like I thought it would be kind of cool though, like if for some reason I did do that, like that would be like a really handy thing to have. Like an immunity built up to snake bites like that. Because if you're walking way out in the woods, and you get bit by a rattlesnake, and you're not done. Like immune, you're done.
Yep.
But if you're like, if you built up an immunity to that, then you have nothing to worry about. Sure, you're going to feel some pain, but you're not going to die.
Right. You're going to live. Now, one thing I wanted to ask you about was your experience working with Smalltown Monsters. Shout out to them. They're an Ohio documentary film crew. If you guys don't know, go check out Smalltown Monsters. All the stuff they're doing on YouTube, but they make documentaries that are on Amazon. But their series, Beyond the Trail, I know you were featured on that. How was it working with those guys? And did you guys come across any evidence while you were on that show and working with that series?
They're some of the most unpleasant people to work with. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow. It's like bad blood.
Oh, man, that's great.
I'm only kidding. No, Alex and Eli, they're fun dudes to hang out with. And I'm in a group chat with Alex, and so he's always fun to talk with. But I think they were wanting to go out to the Bluff Creek, and I told them, I always go every year. So it was, I'm trying to think what year. Oh, it was 2021. Yes, 2021. We went out to Bluff Creek. I met them in Southern California, and from there, where did I meet them? Yeah, Southern California. We met in Santa Barbara. And from there, we drove up. We went through San Francisco. We stayed someplace just like, it was so weird. We get up to like the Redwoods area. Sorry. And we found like some neighborhood road, and we just camped there in our cars. And it was funny because like people were driving up like, hey, what are you guys doing? I was like, we're just camping here. We're not doing anything. And they're like fine with it. And so, but no, we finally get up to where was it? Eureka. And we meet up with Bobo. And Bobo's like, oh, there's this potential Bigfoot sighting I want to go check out in Willow Creek. So we all kind of followed Bobo out there and met with the people on their land. I don't know. I don't really think anything Bigfoot related happened. Although she was like saying she was hearing sounds and stuff. I couldn't really I couldn't really say for sure she did see one or not, or hear one, but I wasn't there. So we met up with Bobo, and after that, we were driving out. We got out to almost near Louse Camp. I can't remember what time it was. What time was it? It was like 8 or 9, something like that. And we're kind of, because I'm driving like a truck to get in there, and Eli and Alex are in like a tiny Toyota Corolla. So, and then there's this part of the road that's pretty bad with like the rocks, because there's like a rock slide and the rocks are pretty sharp. So we're kind of getting out, clearing some of these bigger rocks so he doesn't get a flat. And we're tossing the rocks down into the creek below us to our left. And up to our right is where the old road is above on the ridge. And it's just a slope of like rocks and dirt and everything. And as we're tossing rocks down, Alex is like, did you guys hear that? And Eli and I are like, nope, we didn't hear anything. Then Eli picks up a rock, throws it. Then all of a sudden, rocks start coming down from the top of the ridge at us. So Alex books it one way, then I book it the other way with Eli. And I thought I saw eye shine. And so I'm trying to get my FLIR to like scan up there, but I can't see anything. And as we're looking up at the top of the ridge where all this stuff came from, we hear something in the creek below us walking away. And it was so weird because it felt so coordinated. Like we're throwing something down there, terrorizing something, then something above us was trying to get our attention. So whatever was below us could get away. And so that was very, very weird.
Right.
And then just the whole trip to Bluff Creek that year in 2021, I've been going there since 2015. And out of all the times I've been going there, that's definitely been the most activity I've ever had for potential Bigfoot related stuff. Because like in Laird Meadow, we had something thrown at us. We were hearing knocks that night. My buddy Ron Reed, his dog Bandit, they went up the road from Louse Camp to where the Jerry Crew incident site was, where like the spools of logging wire were getting thrown into the creek and the things of oil drums. And then Ron's dog started acting really weird, like tucking his tail between his legs and just not. It was kind of weird. But what's strange is that dog has hiked the whole Appalachian Trail with Ron, and he's been in Bigfoot territory, bear territory. But for some reason, he was just like freaked out. And like Ken Gearhard was there with a bunch of other people. All the Bluff Creek Project guys were there. Myself, Alex, and Eli, Jonathan Easley. There was like a ton of people there. And then Alex gets back to camp with everybody, and he's talking to Bandit, seeing how Bandit's doing. That poor dog. And apparently Alex hears a whoop that none of us heard, and you can hear it on the audio. So yeah, that was just kind of weird. But we went up to Oregon after that, up in Portland, met up with Cliff, and that was a cool thing. And Cliff gave us a couple of cool spots to go to, so we went out there. And then I did those 2 episodes, and then I worked with them again last year. We did several spots in Florida, then a Georgia spot, and then I did another one recently with Alex, just him and I, over here in the Naples area of Florida. So I've done a lot of work with them, and it's always fun. You never know what you're going to get into, and it's a good time. we have fun. If people saw what went on behind the camera, we would get canceled so fast.
That's awesome, man.
Shenanigans.
Now, yeah. Before we started recording, I was asking you a little bit about, in Ohio, we have the Ohio Grassman. In Florida, you guys are kind of known for the skunk ape. And tell us a little bit about those regions of Florida that are hot spots, because you were talking about several different areas in Florida that are kind of different in their own way.
Yeah, it's weird because like if you've been to like Georgia or something, like northern Florida, like up in the Panhandle, it's kind of more like that terrain where it's a little more dry. It's not as swampy, but the further south you go, it gets a little more swampier. And like Ocala, it's really sandy and it's not as bad. It's kind of like the Panhandle area. But then you get closer to Tampa, it gets more swampy, but it's less forested because you got like Tampa there. Mm-hmm. And then there's not much forest between Tampa and on the coast, like on the East Coast towards the ocean. I don't know what ocean that is, but so. And then when you get down towards like Miami, in between like Miami and Naples, you got the Everglades. So that's just even more wet and a lot less limited area for things to go. So, I mean, I personally think like Ocala is the better bet for potential activity for something to be in, just because there's a lot more places to walk around where it's not as wet. You don't have to be wading through water, snake infested and gator water and stuff like that. Whereas like down here where I'm at, that's all it is. There's like some roads and trails that are like high enough that's out of the water. That's really about it. But I mean, like, well, because when I was with Alex and Eli doing the Beyond the Trail episode down here in my area, we did hear a knock, and we're pretty confident there was nobody else out there doing knocks, because literally, like I said, there's one road into this place we were at, and we drove it and we didn't see anybody. And then we were on this other road walking it, and there was still nobody there. So unless somebody like waded through the creek or through the swamp at night with no lights, and we didn't see them,
Be a
and
bold
they
move.
knocked. Yeah, and they were knocking to our knock that we did. That's just, it's kind of doesn't make sense to me. I mean, sure, that could be a possibility. I'm not throwing it out the window, but it's very unlikely.
Right.
So I think they are here. It just, but like, I think the population are actually pretty low, so the chances of finding them are pretty slim.
The old
like with
elusive skunk ape.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's stupid things.
What was the? I mean, have you had anything or experienced anything in your time of doing this that? Because I mean, I think you're probably a believer at this point. But was there anything that kind of jumped out at you that was like, okay, I know this is real now? Or are you still searching?
Sighting.
Okay.
My thermal sighting was a big one. You know, it's funny because I literally just got a FLIR, and it was like the cheap one. It was like the FLIR Scout TK. If you look that up, it's like $500 on Amazon. The range is like 300 feet. You know, it's like as far as like the max distance you can see with it. And we were in this area in Southern California that we had the hurricane and earthquake happen that I mentioned earlier. So we were out there. It was just me and a buddy. This was like 2016. It was like October 2016. So we're just out there hanging out. And I think it was like 9:00 at night. We already had camp set up. And like at this point, I'm still kind of like nervous being in the dark, because if you don't spend a lot of time camping, people who don't do it can get pretty nervous, nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Bring a headlamp.
So,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Go get yourself a blue
And so I was kind of like, oh man, I'm kind of getting freaked out. And my buddy was like, oh, you're just overthinking it. So I was like, okay, whatever. So we're just drinking beers and hanging out. Then we're like, let's just go do some stuff and see if we hear anything. Not expecting to hear anything at all. And we literally probably walked 5 minutes down this ridge from our car on this trail. And I do a knock, but the knock that I did was not a good knock. It didn't really carry because I did it on like this dead tree. And so I was like, well, I'll just do a couple whoops. I did one whoop down the mountain and another whoop the opposite side over the ridge. And we're just kind of sitting there talking, you know, just whispering to each other. And all of a sudden I hear a whoop back that sounded just like my initial one. And then we walked up the trail where we came from, because there was like this little ridge on top of it, or on top. There was like this little trail on top of the ridge where we could see both sides. So we went up to that, and then we're looking, and then way off in the distance, we see like lights, but we see something else that looks like eyes. And I swear to you, man, they look like car tires from the distance we were at. They were so big. And we were thinking, dude, this has got to be like 50, 60 feet away. And then that's when I actually took out my thermal camera and started filming the thing. But for people who have never used a thermal camera, your first time, it's kind of hard to see what you're looking at through one of those things. It's so weird. And I could not see the thing through the thermal imager. And I'm like flipping through the filters. If you actually watch the video, you'll actually see me flipping through the filters. But we had our headlamps on, which is the reason we were seeing eye shine too. So I put the FLIR down to see if I could see it. I still see the eye shine. And then I bring it back up and start recording. And at the end of the video, this thing stands up. But the whole time I'm relying on my buddy's viewpoint. He's like, dude, it's gone. And so I think what happened is as it stood up, he said it was gone. And then we turned around and walked back to the car. And I shouldn't have done that because when I got home and watched the video the next day, I saw the thing stand up. It was so bizarre. And so it was weird because like this thing made a conscience or made a physical effort to respond to my call. And then as we're walking the ridge, it was staring at us. It made us before we made it, which is the weird thing. And so this thing already knew where we were before we saw it. And then the fact that we were trying to rule out every different possibility of what animal this could be, because it wasn't a bear, it wasn't a deer, definitely was not a human playing tricks on us. It wasn't an owl because we determined this thing was about 300 feet away, and you see a full silhouette thing stand up. And if that was a bird or something, that had to be a pretty big bird. So it doesn't really make sense that it was other animal. And I had a couple other people come out there with me. I had my buddy Jonathan Easley go out there, and he was kind of skeptical of it. And he gets out there and he actually sees the area, and he's like, dude, I think this is legit. And a couple other people I've taken out there have said the same thing so far. So, you know, and to me, like, the video is not damning. It's definitely like one of those classic blob squatch videos. But if you were there, if you see the area in person, then you watch the video and then you hear my testimony with my friend's testimony who was with me, then it paints a bigger picture and then it makes a lot more sense.
Yeah. That's where I'm at. I can't watch another video. We just got to get out there and just let me see something.
No.
You know, we were in southern Ohio a few weeks back, and we got a cabin out in the middle of nowhere. We were hanging out, little team building weekend, and you know, pretty squatchy out there. We were middle of nowhere. It was, you know, a bit great weather, and we're just like, come on now, somebody come visit us. Let's go.
Couldn't get any takers.
No, we
tried.
We're trying to bring the aliens in, trying to bring in the squatches. And they didn't want to come hang out.
No, and that's, you know, it's funny because like the whole time on Bluff Creek, you weren't really getting too much happening. And it's funny because like, I know they're real from personal experience, right? Like, you know, the wind is real when you see the leaves blowing on a tree. You know, just because there's a day or a couple of days that you don't have any wind, you don't stop believing the wind is fake.
Right.
Right? So it's like, just because you don't have any Bigfoot activity for like a whole month doesn't mean they're not real. It just means they're probably not in the area. Because if you're camping in like the PNW especially, it's a huge area. I mean, it could be anywhere. So it's like, it's funny because I was talking to my buddy Ron, who was with me the whole trip, and we're like thinking like, dude, sometimes you just wonder if these things are real, but then you go back to the personal experience you had and you realize, no, I'm just being stupid. They're real.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, it's a weird kind of thing, but then you're always second guessing yourself. Like, am I out here chasing my own tail? You know?
Sure. I bet.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So you really start second guessing yourself sometimes.
I mean, I've gone back and forth with Bigfoot, especially where for years I've always believed, and then I got kind of squirrely and kind of, you know, a lot more skeptical. But until we started up the show, I'm a believer again.
Oh yeah,
I need to see it for myself still.
I've never seen anything.
I want to know about the interdimensional, you know, like D.A. Roberts and those guys are like, it's physical in nature. You know, there are kind of some creepy stories, but you know, this thing's an animal. A lot of their take is that it's, you know, there's different kind of varieties, but it's what they can prove, right?
Yeah. That too.
And, you know, everybody kind of has their own theories, which I think is the most fun part about it is, you know, people see orbs with Sasquatch. They see UFOs with Sasquatch. They see there's all
Predator
these Sasquatch from here in Lima, Ohio. You know, we grew up right outside of Lima where that happened.
True.
And
it's funny you said orbs because like I've never seen anything like that before.
Yeah.
And then it was actually during a Beyond the Trail episode. It was Stacy Brown, myself, Alex and Eli, a couple other buddies, RPG, he was like in the first episode of Expedition Bigfoot, but he was also he was a producer on Finding Bigfoot, and he was there, and it was a guy named James Brost. Forgetting the other guy's name right now, but there was a big group of us there, and so I think what we did when we got to the spot that Stacy was taking us to, we had Alex, Eli, and Stacy walk up the road ahead of us with lights on. And then me and James Brost and RPG, we walked behind them 5 minutes later with lights out. And I kid you not, like 5 minutes from the car, clear baseball, pristine type wood knock off to our left, loud, stopped us in our tracks. We're like, what the heck? And we kind of listened for a minute, and then we decided to keep walking. And then off to our right, same exact knock sound, 2 different locations. Dude, like, what the heck? Stopped us in our tracks again. And we did not have audio going because I swear to God, those are the cleanest, loudest knocks I've ever heard in my life. And so we eventually met up with Stacy, Alex, and Eli, and there was actually a couple other people down the road where they were. And so we were telling them what happened. And then, we talked a little bit, and then we ended up reversing the roles where we walked back with our headlights on, or our headlamps on. So it was me, RPG, and James still. So we walked back first. And then Alex, Eli, and Stacy walked back after us. And so we get back to the cars, and we're kind of hanging out there. We turn the lights off. And me and James are talking as we're waiting on the other guys to show up. And we see this bright blue ball of light kind of like dashing in between the trees. And we have that on audio, and you can hear that in the Beyond the Trail episode for that particular thing. I can't remember what episode it was, but you can hear me and James go at the same time, like, whoa, did you see that? And we're like, yeah. And it was the weirdest thing. I've never seen an orb in my life. And then I felt like one of those people that claim to have seen Bigfoot. But when you tell people what you saw, you sound crazy saying it.
Yeah. Well, we had Travis Roy from Giants of Ancient America, who's kind of a Giants researcher, historian, but goes out in the woods a lot. And he started having Sasquatch experiences and captured video and photo of these blue orbs, green orbs, but prevalently blue. And, again, it's like these blurry little blobs of light on video. It's kind of just like, it's tough to really tell. Yeah. Several times he's seen these Sasquatch and orb phenomenon kind of all happening at the same time. And that's just kind of, going out there and hiking where he's from.
Yeah. Well, and like you said, too, it's like, it's not something I would have thought I would have seen, or it's tough to explain or what. Well, it's not like seeing a bear. People have seen a bear. We know how to corroborate those. Yeah. When you're having these unique experiences and you're seeing something, again, totally new, it's going to probably freak you out. And that's why I think a lot of people and why I've bought into Sasquatch in general is people don't generally have that strong of a feeling towards something that is a witnessed animal before. Yeah, like it's not that impactful if you see a bear. It's cool. Don't get me wrong. It's neat, but you're not going to go home,
Start having nightmares.
Yeah, and your hair's not going to turn gray overnight. And,
people get really disturbed after they see Bigfoot.
Yeah.
It changes them.
Yeah.
Especially if
it's just weird. Yeah, it's weird how that does change somebody. Like, oh, man, I could never sleep again and never go camping. I'm like, It's funny because you talk to normal, like I say, normal people. People who look for Bigfoot are not normal.
No.
That's my kind of normal, though. I know what you're talking about, and that's my kind of normal.
Exactly.
It's just funny because you talk to normal people like who are hunters or just people going out to go for an evening hike, and they see these things and they get freaked out. Like, oh, I'm never going in the forest again. I have nightmares. Yeah. But then you talk to like people who actually go out looking for these things. It's like maybe there's something that's not registering in our brain that this doesn't happen and shouldn't happen, and we go out and look for the same thing that people try to avoid.
Yeah,
normal people try to avoid.
Yeah. Well, I think hunters go out there and they get a little freaked out because they start wondering: one, are they possibly going to shoot one?
Well,
are they possibly going to get attacked by one? And also the concern, like hunters, stories of possibly shooting Sasquatch or Bigfoots before and then thinking, oh my God, I've killed a person. Like we've talked about that before a couple of times. Like there's some really weird scenarios. So I could see being a hunter, if you were out there and like, say you either had it in your scope or we've heard people have those conversations before. And like, just that might make you go, okay, I'm good. I don't need to go out here and hunt anymore. I'd still probably go out in the woods. I just probably wouldn't, provoke them in that nature. I just put the weapon down.
Yeah, it's weird because, like, it's funny. It's not that I don't tent camp. I do tent camp, but I like car camping more if I can because it's not that I'm worried a bear's going to get me or anything, but at the same time, it's that false sense of security that you have something a nylon shelter protecting you. You're fooling yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. You're at least going to have to make them work a little harder to get you in a car.
Yeah. And so it's like, but either way, it's still scary to camp in like an area. And sure, maybe bears are scary because you might have a rogue bear or just some crazy mountain lion. But not that I think Bigfoot's going to hurt me. It's more of the mindset and thinking like there is a 8 to 9 foot tall ape man walking on 2 legs with hands that looks like a giant ass human.
Right.
It could break you in half.
Yeah. And it's like pushing on my tent. And I'm like, I'm freaking the hell out right now. And so I can't tell like what's scarier is like being in a tent that doesn't protect you at all, but you can't see it. Or being in a car with windows that you can see it, but they can't get you.
Jurassic Park.
Yeah, man.
It's really a double-edged sword if you think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you got some serious tinted windows, maybe that's the move. Tint out your
No,
Jeep.
But even that's the
you can
problem.
still see out. That's right.
No, but even with it, like even if like you were to put like shades or whatever like on your windows where you can't see in or out. The scary part is if something's rocking your Jeep or car back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm good without that.
It's like you can't win ever with that at all. Either something's going to kill you through your tent, or you're going to hear it really loud, or something you're going to see it through your windows of your Jeep, or something's going to be rocking your car while you're in it.
And before that, you're going to probably have signs before that even happens of some activity to where they know that you're there and they don't want you there.
Yeah.
So if you're camping, there's probably some stuff already happening. They're not just they're going to give you some chances. At least a lot of those stories of when they start chasing people down, you hear, amateur Bigfooters go out. They don't know what they're getting themselves into. And then all of a sudden they get up into this territory and next thing you know, they're surrounded and they're pushing them out of that area and they're just scared completely to death.
Yeah.
And you would hope they would give you some kind of like warning.
Yeah. Yeah. And
maybe that's their new way of messing with you, just not to tell you they're coming through.
Yeah.
Like stupid person. I'm gonna go mess with them.
Coming like a wrecking ball.
Yeah.
Oh my, coming in like a Miley Cyrus.
Oh yeah.
Man.
Coming in like Taylor Swift in the NFL, like shut up.
Oh man.
Actually, that makes no sense. That makes no sense.
Oh
man, there's so much weird stuff happening right now. Pop culture.
There's a lot of strange.
Yeah, we do our bi-weekly show, Strange Happenings, and it's just like it doesn't matter. There's always something strange or weird happening. Have you ever had any paranormal experiences or UFO experiences or anything weird like that when you've been out under the stars?
I have not. A couple possible UFO stuff happened. Paranormal, I don't. So I just stay away from the paranormal stuff.
Mm-hmm. Not your thing.
It's not my thing. Nor do I want that around. I don't want that bad mojo.
Okay. So you're a believer.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Man.
Have you ever had? You never had an experience though?
Nope.
Why?
Nope,
Okay.
no.
The more it's almost like get the spider away from me, and the more you say that, the more I'm going to bring it towards you. But what is? I guess what gives you the heebie-jeebies about that more than Sasquatch? You seem comfortable hunting Sasquatch.
Sasquatch.
I guess a lot.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's the thing. Like, here's the thing. Like, Sasquatch is not a proven thing, right? It's still cryptid. It's the research of an undiscovered whatever it is,
right?
You know, and then if you look at the Bigfoot community, there's like the whole thing. Oh, it's paranormal. Oh, it's physical. Nobody really knows what it is because you can't find one.
Oh, sure.
But you know, if like for me, I'm a religious person and I believe in God and like angels and demons, and so I believe in spirit creatures already in that sense. And so, you know, what is a ghost? What is a spirit? Some kind of supernatural force. In my opinion, you know, I think it's demons. And those are very much real. And so it's like, I don't try to think about it because I don't want them thinking I'm curious in them and having them come and be intertwined with me somehow. You know, it's
the old saying, you look into the void, it may just look back.
Exactly. And that's not my cup of tea. And until Bigfoot is proven for sure one way or another, it's, you know, physical or not, I'm pretty much happy. And I'm more of the flesh and blood kind of thing because so far the flesh and blood stuff is what I've been experiencing.
Good point.
Far more than I've experienced any type of thing. And you know, it's funny because I will say this. I do, there's like an avenue. I'm trying to think of like maybe a documentary I want to make about it, go more into detail, kind of intertwine the two. Cause like I do, trying to think of how to word it. I do get sleep paralysis sometimes. Like I get episodes of that.
Yep.
And it's funny because like you talk to other people sometimes who don't really are not well educated, who don't do research. Like, oh, it's like for sure paranormal. I'm thinking like, no, it's not. It's like scientifically proven. It's just parts of your brain don't connect like they should when you go to bed. There's like I'm still gonna butcher it. So like rapid eye movement, it's something that happens when you're sleeping. You know, I'm not even going to try to attempt to explain it. But basically your body's asleep, but your mind is awake.
Yeah.
And so that's why some people hallucinate when they get it and they get that feeling of like tight chest, you know, like they get that tight chested feeling.
Like someone's sitting on their chest and holding them down and you think it's a spirit or a demon. Yeah, I think there's sometimes, or people have like abduction experiences that could be sleep paralysis. You know, it's very simple. Yeah,
and because what happens when you go to sleep, I think your body shuts off, so you don't roll off the bed and hurt yourself. But I think a lot of people don't actually realize that because you're sleeping, you just think I'm not moving myself. But no, your body does that as a safety mechanism to keep you safe. And so I think. And it's funny because like one of my other documentaries unrelated to the Sabe stuff, I did touch a little bit about that. Is there a crossover between Bigfoot sightings, you know, as when you're in your tent and sleep paralysis? Do they kind of bleed into each other?
Okay.
Because if you look at like some of the contributing factors to what causes sleep paralysis, it's irregular sleep patterns. So like, you know, staying up at night, not getting to bed at a certain amount of times, not having a regular schedule, kind of like fear, you know, kind of getting yourself on edge, you know, in a way. And these different things, sleeping on your back, those are all triggers that can cause it. Because you always hear about people saying, no, there's something out in my tent, and I heard it, and it was like, I heard like this muffling sound, and it was pushing on my tent. Maybe that was sleep paralysis, while you're in Bigfoot territory and you're just really sleep deprived and, you know, you cause yourself to have an episode and maybe you didn't know you were prone to it. So I think there's something there that I really want to go and investigate more. And it'd be really cool to like reach out to the Bigfoot community and maybe see if there's like something there. Because I don't know. I always found that to be interesting. Maybe there's a connection between the two.
Yeah. Could be.
Sure.
Why not?
I wouldn't say no.
No, I mean, yeah, I've heard a lot stranger theories.
Well, you said it earlier too.
That's more of a logical explanation for
it's all theory. It's all theory until we figure it out, right? So I'll accept anything because I can't reject anything. You know what I mean? So at this point, I'm willing to entertain a lot, and those are actually, especially when you're taking well put together, thought process on it. Like I can entertain that for a while, sure.
Yeah, I mean, because it's like not that far fetched. I mean, if people will believe other people that they had like Bigfoot encounters and they saw orbs and stuff, how much more far fetched is it to be considering the idea that sleep paralysis could be a factor into a situation like this? You know. And sleep paralysis has been forever for a long time. It's just, I think the scientific community didn't really become aware of it until more recently because they didn't know what was going on. And there's no really way to diagnose if you have it or not. It's not like, oh, I got a cold.
Right.
Here's the symptoms of it.
That's interesting. I wonder if there's ever been any studies done where they actually have had, say, someone who suffers from sleep paralysis heavily, like, you know, once a week or this or that, you know, they go in for a sleep study. I wonder if they've captured or documented, you know, actual sleep paralysis cases, because I've had it happen. It's been a long time.
It's been a while for me too.
Had really good moments of it. Yeah, and it's like, it's unpleasant. It's a weird experience. When you finally can snap out of it, it's nice, you know, type thing. But
it's
weird.
So honestly, it's the scariest thing that I've ever had happen to me.
Yeah, it's unpleasant.
But it's at the same time, it's kind of a rush.
Yeah,
in a weird, bizarre way. I think the worst time that I had it recently. Okay, recently a few years back, but
yeah, sure.
I was like laying down on my bed, and I usually sleep with my door closed and locked. But for some reason, when I woke up, I had my TV on, and I go to bed with my TV on sometimes, and sometimes, depending on what TV you have, sometimes your TV will be off and just be blue, you know? So my TV went off and it was just like blue screen the whole time. And I woke up and my door was open. I was like, okay. And then I saw this silhouette of a little kid running from my door to where the window is, across in front of me.
That's great.
And there was a dresser that wasn't there, and the kid's like reaching into the dresser trying to grab something.
Damn.
And I went to yell or say, hey, and I could not say anything. And the whole thing, it felt like forever, but it was probably 12 seconds. And then I came out of it and was like, oh my God. It's the word. I feel like I was like violated by another human being or something.
Well, it's kind of like
this happens.
It's kind of like you have a dream about you're late for a test, or you didn't show for work or something. You have this really weird dream. Oh shit, I didn't go to school today. I'm not in school anymore. But you have that dream and you wake up, and for like a few hours, maybe a half hour, an hour after that, you're like, you still have that gross feeling, the hangover, right? From the dream. So with sleep paralysis, it's even worse. Stranger, because you just slip right from that to awake, and you're like, what the hell just happened?
Yep.
What did I just witness?
I love the way you said that. That's 100% true. Yeah. No, it's so true. It's that. I mean, you get why people think it is paranormal and they claim to be an out-of-body experience, because when it does happen, it's like, what the hell just happened?
Right. Well, you'd struggle to find some kind of an explanation. I would have. You know, I think a lot of different television shows are, you know, abnormal, unexplained, this and that, whatever. Like, again, like you've said, sleep paralysis has come up more and more recently in pop culture and different shows of kind of exploring the phenomena. But 10, 20 years ago, nobody talked about sleep paralysis. Nobody knew that wasn't even a term.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like what the hell is that? Sleep paralysis? Oh,
it's recently kind of just entered the zeitgeist of the internet. You know,
it really has,
which is hilarious.
Yeah.
No, it really has. I mean, like, you know, people claim sleep paralysis was like, or before it was called sleep paralysis, whatever it was called, was like a way of remote viewing the dead or something weird like that.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Like seeing the other side, because
dimensional.
I think there is ways you can induce sleep paralysis on purpose. And I was watching this one YouTube video of this guy who gets it pretty bad, and he induced it. And when you watch him doing it, nothing happens on camera. But I guarantee you, like when the person is going through that experience, it's weird. Because like my aunt has it too, but she doesn't hallucinate when she gets it. Like me, when I get it, I do hallucinate.
Mm-hmm.
It's so weird because some people get it and they don't hallucinate. Some people get it and they do hallucinate.
Right.
So how do you explain it's paranormal if you don't hallucinate?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's a good point.
Know?
It's a good point.
I think so too. Great point.
So it's just kind of weird.
Nobody knows at all.
Again,
you can try to explain it and have all these theories about it, and even scientists, but you know, dreams, we don't know where those come from. We don't really know where consciousness comes from, let alone how we experience sleep paralysis and what the hell's really going on there.
Yeah.
You know,
I found a way to beat it though. Yeah, no, it really is. I found a way to beat sleep paralysis. So laying on your back is a contributor to it. So I just sleep on my side the whole time.
Really?
left or right side. Yeah, because you won't. I think you can get it, but it's extremely rare if you sleep on your side.
Might be a little bit harder. Yeah, I don't know.
My arm.
I know there is some kind of like stupid fact of like if you want to fall asleep faster, lay on your right side.
Could
it's
be
something about the blood in your brain, and
yeah, I could buy that.
Some weird stuff like that. Or like if you lay on different sides, you'll have different dreams because you're
really
basically like hyper oxygenating different parts of your brain.
That when you're the way you're describing that reminds me of just like that magic 8-ball thing.
Yeah.
It's like that's how my dreams come in, depending on what side I sleep on. It just turns and it's like that side, this side, whatever. That's kind of funny.
Have you ever had the sleep paralysis where it's kind of like, okay, so you have the dream and you wake up, but you know the moment you fall asleep again, you're going to go back in that dream. Mm-hmm. You ever had that?
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
I've never had that. I've been kind of like afraid to go back to sleep because I don't want to get it again.
Right.
But I've never gone back and like, because like my dream, I've never had like a dream bleed into the sleep paralysis thing. It's always been like a separate thing. It's like, I don't remember what I was dreaming. Then I was awake. Then I see something. Then I can't go back to sleep for an hour. Then I go back to sleep and I don't dream.
Yeah. See, I'll have the tail end of it. Like we talked about where like you go from sleep paralysis to like you're awake and then like you remember it and you have the retention of it. And I'll know like, God, if I fall back asleep, I know what's going to happen. I'm going to end up right back in this dream. It's so weird. And I know it's going to happen, and it does. And again, it's not like probably been a handful of times, you know, whatever it is. But every time it's like it has this weird like sensation of deja vu associated with it. Like just all these weird spidey sense tinglings that you're like, what the F is going on? Like, can I just get a good night's rest? Why am I having hallucinations and sleep paralysis? And what is going on?
Hallucinate, I would have eaten some mushrooms. This isn't even fun.
Yeah. Maybe I ate something bad. Maybe I had some moldy bread. Yeah, you feel like Ebenezer Scrooge
poisoning
in Dickens. Dickens story. You're like, was it mustard?
Yeah.
You know, is that why I'm seeing this ghost of Christmas past? You know, like it really does. You start to wonder
why can't it be like a hot girl in my sleep paralysis?
Yeah.
Hallucination.
That's never happened, believe me. It's always
it's never some like hot girl like, hey, what you doing, babe? You know, something like that.
Never with pizza and you know Xbox or something like that, or a great film. It's you know,
playing Mario Kart.
It's always something very creepy.
Kid.
Why is that?
Bigfoot. You know,
it's like John Wayne Gacy teabagging you or something.
Oh my God. The ultimate nightmare. He was, you don't want to be underneath that undercarriage.
I'm just imagining that there would have been like a little paint stain, like the little white paint, like the clown.
Old John Wayne Gacy, the killer clown.
Little hair marks.
Yeah, look at the, I don't know. Let's not do that.
I think it's Earl Grey.
Oh man.
We just went to a dark place fast.
We got dark quick there, didn't we? Man, this has been an awesome conversation. We've had a ball. Tate, you're the man. I
love it.
Oh, man. Is there anything else that you want to share with us, you know, while we have you here? You know, anything with your research or experiences, you know, lay it on the table. Let us know again, you know, leave our audience with anything that we might have missed.
Yeah, real quickly. So, like, I don't know if we talked about it before we started or after we started, but the whole Sasquatch search for Sabe, that's kind of my thing I've been doing now. I have, 6 episodes out. Part 1 of the Bluff Creek episode just came out. Part 2 is coming out on the 20th of this month. And then I literally just finished that Southern California thing we were talking about when we experienced a hurricane and an earthquake.
Yeah.
Finished that. That's going to come out December 20th. And then I have the Iowa episode. I'm currently working on that. That's going to come out in January on the 20th. And so that, I think after that, that's going to be 8 episodes so far that I have of the series.
Nice.
So I'm pretty happy about that.
Very cool.
But the name, I want to talk about the name real quickly, the Sabe. Because I kind of, I think I have all these different ideas and some of them stick, some of them don't. And I think this one really is kind of the best one that I had so far for like an idea. And the idea came from Les Stroud, because Les Stroud was doing his whole Survivor Man Bigfoot series. And he mentions the word Sabe. And up in Manitoba, Canada, there's a Native American tribe up there. And I think with this particular one, they have, maybe it's like different Native American tribes, but there's like what's called the 7 teachings. And within the 7 teachings, there's different animals like eagle, fox, raven, bear, whatever. And each animal represents a different attribute. Like one can represent courage or strength or something like that. But Bigfoot is Sabe, and Sabe represents honesty. And I really wanted to do a series that's honest. What you see is what you get. I don't fabricate anything. And if you've ever watched my videos, they're very boring sometimes. And that's because that's actually what happens out there in the field. It's boring, right. And we're not there. We're not out there fabricating anything or anything like that. And so I wanted Bigfoot and I wanted honesty, and Sabe was the perfect blend. Then it wasn't until like Jeremiah, because at first it was a search for Sabe, and that was just the title. Then people were like, you should put Bigfoot in there somewhere because nobody knows what Sabe means. So I put Sasquatch, the search for Sabe. So that's kind of where the title of the series came from, what the series represents. But yeah, that's the series. So I got a few episodes coming out. And then again, like I said earlier, you can find me on search for Sabe on Instagram. You can find me on YouTube at Tate Hieronymus, HIERONYMUS. And you can find me on Facebook under that name too. So those are my socials again.
Dude, fantastic, brother. Guys, go check out all those that series In Search of Sabe. I've never heard of that, so that's new to me. I love that. That it's the search for honesty. I need a lot of honesty right now and you do have a lot of people out there just making some shit up, trying to get YouTube famous on TikTok and YouTube, and so we respect the hell out of what you're doing, and keeping it legit.
Just want to figure out what's going on.
Nobody knows.
Yeah,
are we ever gonna know? We need guys like Tate on the ground.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll know at some point.
Let's get it going.
We appreciate it.
Dude, we've had a blast tonight. Thank you again for making time to come on. Everybody, Tate Hieronymus, go check out Sasquatch in Search of Sabe on YouTube.
Heck yes.
Go check out Beyond the Trail with Smalltown Monsters, and hit Tate up on all the social media platforms.
For sure.
Dude, we appreciate the hell out of you. Thank you so very much.
Tate's the man.
Thank you, guys.
Awesome, dude. Well, we'll be right back. We're going to give you a proper goodbye. We're going to outro the show, and we'll chat here in just a second. Guys, Tate Hieronymus.
There you go.
There you go.
Who doesn't like searching for Sasquatch? Who doesn't?
We need to get out there. That's all I know. What I really wanted to do that Iowa expedition, but some stuff popped up with my family, and like that week leading up, I'm like, I got to get either a flight, I got to get hotels. So
let's make it happen this
Tate and Jeremiah will invite us on another expedition sometime. But guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. Everybody in the chat, everybody at home listening, whether you're in your car or you're on a flight, we appreciate the hell out of all of you. And again, share, like, subscribe, rate the show, follow us on social media. We got the Strange Road merch store, which is launched, fully activated, thestrangeroadmerch.com.
There you go.
There it is. Stoner's got that beautiful graphic up for you to remind you to hit that notification bell. If you don't hit the notification bell, you're not going to get notified. If you subscribe to us,
just how it works.
I guess, just the other night, even people that were subscribed and hit the notification bell weren't getting notified. So sometimes that happens. But to ensure you're getting notified every time we go live or have a YouTube premiere,
gotta hit that bell.
You'll be notified.
Yeah,
we'll make it easy.
Don't miss out. So don't miss out.
Thank you all again. Love, peace, and chicken grease. We are out.
Later.
Good night, y'all.
Appreciate y'all.